How's everybody doing? Hello, hello, Marco Polo, hello? There it is. There's somebody.
Scusa, scusa.
Hey guys, we usually get started around 3:30. We got started a little bit late today, so I apologize for that. But we just kind of had a fun one planned for today. Broken Strings and Black Cauldron came out. So it's Charles and Jeanna. And they were kind of to come in and just kind of talk about what it's like, especially these days, to kind of scale up from a homebrew side up into actually running a brewery. So it's going to be a lot of question and answer kind of stuff. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. Hopefully they got some information for you. I'm sure they do. So without further ado.
Hey everybody, thanks for having us. I see a lot of familiar faces. This is my first homebrew club. Back in the day when I thought that Golden Drop was like the best craft beer ever.
Still is.
But we just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about the last, 16 months of our journey from becoming homebrewers to opening a brewery. Semi-professional, kind of, sort-of-ish, no?
Way over our head.
I know, right? And take any questions if anybody's thinking about opening a brewery, if anybody that knows anybody who's thinking about opening a brewery, don't do it. We just want to talk a little bit also about our concept. It's a little different from most. So basically, Ken, my husband, and I, with Black Cauldron, we had been trying for a couple of years to open a brewery. And Charles and his partners were trying for a couple of years to open Broken Strings, and we just hit a bunch of roadblocks and kind of found ourselves together at DeLand Craft Beer Festival one year, and we're, comparing battle stories, and decided to kind of combine forces, but not quite necessarily rebrand. So with that, we ended up with a kind of a new concept: 2 breweries, 1 roof, kind of like. I always tell everybody it's like a Baskin-Robbins Dunkin' Donuts situation. All good stuff in the back. And so that's basically what we've been doing. We opened June 4th, and it's been an interesting process so far. So with that, 3 months today. Wow. So with that, I'll turn it over to Charles, and we'll take it from there. We'll talk a little bit about anything you guys want to talk about, from business plans to scaling up to what happens when no one's in your tap room, whatever you want to talk about. So here you
go. Thanks, guys. I'm Charles, the brewer and co-owner of Broken Strings. I know a bunch of you guys as well. Special thanks to Ed Neeson. I probably wouldn't be up here today if it wasn't for him showing me the ways of homebrewing. One of the questions. I'm sorry to ruin it, but he is the reason I got into homebrewing, and I had a previous interest in it because my grandfather was actually, and I can use the word master brewer, because he did it for over 30 years. He has a diploma in brewing from an academy in New York. He brewed in Puerto Rico for quite a long time for a brewery that no longer exists. So I like to think it's in the blood. It was something that I was meant to do, and it kind of gave me the ability to realized that it was something I was capable of doing, and kind of took it from there. Took his class. It's a great class. If you ever have a chance to sit in on it, it's really cool. There's not many times when you're in college you can actually get to say you drank during class and after. During the test, bring it home with you. So that was a really cool experience. But it's been a really long time to get this place open. A lot of stressful moments, but we're finally there. Spent a lot of time with Kent Waugh for Big River and now Crooked Can, kind of just learning how to take the homebrewing side of things and scaling it up to the next level. Cold crashing and diacetyl rest, and how to use the pumps, and that a refractometer doesn't give you a good measure when there's alcohol present. Who knew? I learned that yesterday. So I've been using hydrometers forever and decided to start using this fancy digital refractometer we bought. Everything was ending at 6.5 bricks, and I was pulling my hair out, losing sleep at night, wondering what the hell was wrong. And it was just refractometer. Needed to account for that. But we've got it all figured out now. I would have had 3 beers on tap today that were all brand new, but I had them in the fermenter because I was waiting for them to finish out. So that's the stress of running a new business when you've got a million other things on your plate. But yeah, we like to open it up for questions because we're so new at this, and we think that the best is what you guys may be interested in hearing from us. I know Chris has got a couple questions if you guys don't really know.
You guys want to do blanket questions just to hopefully spur some thought in you guys, so please. So, there you go.
We have a 3-barrel brew house. We got everything from stout conicals over in Portland. It's pretty much all China stuff. We tried to go through an American-made company. Had a lot of troubles. A couple other breweries in town have had some troubles with them. So if you are opening a brewery, do not use Systech out of Ohio. This is an advertisement against them. Do not use them if you want your sanity and your brewery to open on time. But yeah, we have a 3-barrel brew house. We have 6 3-barrel conical fermenters and 2 bright tanks, all jacketed with a 5 horsepower glycol system. 3 vessel hot liquor tank. We also have 2 hot water in demand tankless water heaters to kind of speed up the day. So we can have hot water on demand for the hot liquor tank and for sparging and for cleaning. It took our pilot batch brew days from 10 hours down to about 6 to 7. So it was worth it. I have a hot liquor tank, a mash tun, and a boil kettle. That's what I was probably going to get to that. But they're all 2 pumps, control panel to operate it all. We have a 40 plate heat exchanger that's yay high, weighs about 500 pounds. Don't move it. Yeah, that's the 3-barrel brew house, 3 vessels. Oh yeah, sorry. We are located downtown Orlando, 1012 West Church Street, in the heart of Paramore, the corner of Westmoreland, about 850 feet from the new soccer stadium they're building. We're sandwiched in between the Citrus Bowl, we don't call it the Camping World Stadium, and the new soccer stadium. Tangerine Bowl works too, but we're sandwiched right in the middle of those. We picked the neighborhood for several reasons, part of which was soccer and the events. Soccer game days are our bread and butter right now, but it was also a chance to be part of rebuilding a community, and the rent was super cheap. What is our budget?
What was our budget? And then
What was our budget? Okay, so you'll probably hear, and I should probably hand this off to Jeanna at some point. I'm sorry. You'll probably hear every brewer or owner tell you twice as long and 3 times as much. We were at about that. We had originally budgeted for around $250,000, and we're just over $500,000 to open the doors. We owe all of that money.
What were
So,
the unseen budget pitfalls?
excuse me? What were the pitfalls?
What were the unseen budget?
Construction. We knew how much the equipment was going to be. We knew how much rent was going to be. It was the permitting and construction process. We had no idea that the city was going to drag us through the coals and make us do a million things. Whenever you change use of a building, if the building was previously a mechanic building, zone industrial, and you're trying to change it to mixed use, brewery, tasting room, they make you bring the building up to all of the new codes. So luckily we weren't big enough to need sprinklers, but we needed handicapped accessible entrances. We had to put a brand new door in the back of the building because it was more than 75 feet away from another door. So a lot of things like that. We had to go through a 3-month zoning process just to get approval to open up a bar in an industrial zoned area. Because we were within 1,000 feet of a church. So there was a twofold effect. And that's a 3-month process. There's no way to make it go any faster. And then from there, it was a 6-month process just to get the permit to do the build out on the building. Yes, sir.
The church thing, did you have to get a variance for that?
Yes, that's the zoning. It's called a conditional use.
Shake it.
No, that's what the mic is.
It's called a conditional use permit or provision. And essentially, you have to ask to do something on your property that you're not zoned allowed to do, or if you're within a church distance.
Did you have to get permission from the church?
No. The church was able to come and speak at the public hearing, and they voiced their concerns. Apparently, one of their concerns was that a brewery in Paramore was not in line with Martin Luther King's vision for the neighborhood. So they kind of lost some people's attention after that. But we got voted, we got approved, but it was a 3-month process. There was no way we could speed it up.
How did you plan your marketing plan as far as social media and web design and that sort of thing?
That's kind of been an ongoing process.
Social
It was-
media. She wanted to know how we've designed our social media plan.
How we designed our social media plan, marketing, things like that. One of the good things that we had going for us was that for a couple of years, for both of us, we've been really heavily doing beer festivals, getting our beer out there, almost to the point where people are like, "Are you ever gonna open?" So we had a good following. We had a good following to start out with. Once we opened, it was more of a case of kind of just getting through the day to day, and making sure we had enough beer on tap. You know, with the soccer game days, it gets really busy before and after the games. The Guns N' Roses concert, the Miami Dolphins games. These events will really kind of knock it out of you. With the soccer season coming to a close now, we're really ramping up on juicing up our social media and our events, and that's the big thing. Wednesdays we're doing open mic nights. Thursdays we're doing trivia nights because that's a huge draw. Lots of people love trivia and they get tired of playing against the same old people, same old groups. So a new place is always good. And then also we're starting to have bands coming in, food truck Fridays. And then also I'm thinking about maybe a monthly poker night. So we've been really focused on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on all of the social media platforms to kind of get the information out and let people know what we're doing when, and if there's something special on, if a new beer goes on. I find that with the tools that we have now, Instagram will post to Facebook automatically and post to Twitter automatically if you want it to. So that makes it a lot easier. Website, we're still we have the website. It's in progress. That was kind of last on our list because with all the social media, websites are generally the least trafficked. Facebook pages and whatnot. So that's basically how we've been handling that.
Kind of look at the social media like we have a very tiny, small snowball right now, and every day we're just kind of pushing it along, and hopefully it gets bigger and bigger, and then at some point it'll go downhill and it'll roll really fast. So we're just kind of slowly just keep pushing on it every day. We do have a small marketing nightmare because we're 2 breweries, and then we have a separate name for our tasting room. So we have 3 Facebook pages, 2 Instagrams, 2 Twitters, 3 websites that all converge onto one website when it's all said and done, and just explaining that to people and the confusion of it. And then there's Google Plus. Having all your Google listings is a nightmare. Logging in and having different emails and just keeping all those passwords in line. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Absolutely.
You guys,
I do
have
this for
Facebook or Twitter users,
for 25
just
years.
find them, like them. It helps them out immensely.
Yes.
They came out here to give you guys a presentation, help them out.
That being said, was that the federal licensing that caused all those different problems from Cincinnati, where you had to have one name for the back of the building, and one name for the tasting room, and one name for something else?
Well, the way the licensing works with getting to be from the federal and the state standpoint is you don't get licensed as a business. Broken Strings isn't licensed as a brewery. The building gets licensed as a brewery. And it just made sense because when we decided to join in together on this, we decided that it would all be equal. That no matter if Black Cauldron beers for some reason sell more than Broken Strings beers, we all benefit equally from that, and that made sure that we were all putting the same amount of effort into being successful together. So we created a third LLC. That third LLC, Broken Cauldron, is owned half by Black Cauldron's LLC and half by my LLC. And there are wordings in our partnership agreement that at some point, if this doesn't work out as a collaborative effort, that we can go our separate ways. They continue to own Black Cauldron, and I continue to own Broken Strings and the recipes and the beers associated with that brand, and vice versa. But we also have it written that we can continue and move on as a group like this for the foreseeable future. It's the building. You have to look because they come out and they inspect the building. It has to be secured. It has to be a secured building. They have to make sure that kegs aren't disappearing at night or people aren't siphoning beer right out of bright tanks that aren't getting accounted for. It's very silly, but it's the building. So it's not like we couldn't just up and move today to another building and take all of our equipment and start brewing. We'd have to relicense all over again.
So are you brewing for both companies?
Basically, he is the head brewer for Broken Strings, and I'm the head brewer for Black Cauldron. So on brew days, especially once we get our 3-barrel system up and running here in the next week or so, I'm going to go in and brew my beer, and we're going to have a schedule, and I'll assist him on his brew days, and he'll come and assist me on my brew days. My husband Ken does a lot of brewing on the pilot system right now, but Ken and his business partner Adam still have their full-time jobs. So for us two, we're full steam ahead just with the brewery. So once everything gets rolling, really rolling, it's going to be pretty much me and him handling all of the operations as far as brewing goes, and then on the weekends or whenever Ken has time, he'll get back there and help us too. So basically, I brew my beers, he brews his beers. We collaborate and come up with ideas together and how to make my beers better, how to make his beers better. Especially learning a new system, there's going to be a learning curve. So it's really truly a collaborative effort. And one of the reasons why Broken Cauldron came to be was because it's really easy to confuse the federal government. And we didn't want them to come in and say, oh, well, okay, well, this is 2 breweries, we're going to tax you twice. So for the sake of just simplicity, Broken Cauldron is the umbrella company and the 2 brands below it. So pretty much was the easiest way for us to do it. And we thought if we completely rebranded to something that people have been following us for years, if we completely rebranded to something completely new, we might lose people in that change, in that metamorphosis. So wanted to kind of like keep it together. A lot of people have questions like, wait, okay, I don't get it. But as soon as we explain it to them, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Broken Cauldron is just the location, the building, the taproom, where you can come drink the beer. The brands can grow outside of that. Brands are what we hope get out. We're already at some bars and restaurants throughout town. But the building is Broken Cauldron. The brands are what's always going to be able to what we can expand and grow.
What are some places we can find you as far as accounts go?
The Brass Tap in Mills has us on for a short while. We were on tap at World of Beer downtown for a little while. Crafted in Metro West has Ruckus Red on. They kind of switch our beers in and out. Luckily, we're able to be in distribution because the liquid vinyl and the Ruckus Red that we brewed before we opened, we brewed it for Simmon Hollow in DeLand as a contract brewing agreement. It was our recipes, and we were there on brew day. We physically showed up with hops and yeast, and we were transferring and pushing the buttons and cleaning and filling kegs. But it gave us the ability to have at least 2 of our beers on when we opened, and we have had those beers on consistently for the past 3 months. A lot of breweries, we notice when they open, they run out of everything, and they have nothing of their own on for weeks at a time. So we were able to avoid that with the added benefit of, because that beer goes through a distributor, we were able to allocate some of the 30 kegs from each 15-barrel batch to some bars and restaurants throughout town. Liquid Vinyl, my black IPA, is about to go on at the Highball and Harvest in the Ritz-Carlton for about 3 months. I'm replacing Cigar City Maduro, so I'm like, that's huge. I'm really stoked about that. And they have an offer to put Ruckus Red on at the Four Seasons for a few months. So being able to put that on a resume, being able to be in the market at some bars like that ahead of a lot of other breweries that have been open for a year or so, like Bohemians, for example. No offense to them, but being able to do that and only being open for 3 months is awesome.
I have a really geeky question. Out of all the equipment that you've worked with as a home brewer, now you're working with as a professional brewer on a commercial scale. What is the piece of equipment that you have had to find the most adjustment to, or that you find the biggest difference in now that you're doing commercial level versus homebrew level?
To be honest, in our defense, our 3-barrel system is still a work in progress. We haven't brewed on it yet. It was always our goal to get the taproom open first. So everything we've been brewed right now is pilot batches. Our main struggle is just getting it all up and running, figuring out how to run the wiring to each fermenter for the solenoids and the the thermal wells to get it to the control panel. Fingers crossed that when we wire it up and plug everything in and turn it on, that all the temperature controllers are going to work properly. And you know, it's mainly been a financial reason. We needed to make sure that we were bringing in some capital and replenishing some of the funds and had a cushion, because it took everything we had to get the Taproom open, and then some. So unfortunately, we can't say that we're up and running on the 3-barrel brew house, but it's close. We just sold a couple extra pieces of equipment that we bought that we didn't necessarily need, like a 3-head keg washer. We're going to wash kegs at another local brewery that's offered to do it for us. So that capital that we brought back in, we're going to use to order the rest of the equipment I need this week, the chemicals, the powder grain, the pressure release valves for all the fermenters that they don't tell you that they don't ship to you when you order the fermenters. So stuff like that.
Great, well, thank you. But if I would say the part I'm not looking forward to is the heat exchanger aspect of cooling the wort down and dealing with all that. That's
What's the issue with that you're concerned
it's
about?
just it's tricky get it dialed into the right temperature and for the first few times and hoping that I'm not taxing the glycol system so much that I'm hurting the fermenters being able to keep. I'm told that we have a
glycol unit that's strong enough to handle all of that, but it's just the unknowns. You know, the unknowns that are going to happen over the next few weeks. I have it direct fire natural gas burners underneath the boil kettle. I'm going to worry about scorching. Like, I'm going to literally have to run a pump of circulation the entire boil for 60 to 90 minutes. That worries me. You know, boiling water constantly flowing through a pump. So it's things like that. It's the unknown of the next few weeks is probably what I worry about the most.
So from the perspective of new toys, would you say that glycol is probably going to be like the biggest new toy that you have to experiment and experience and play with?
Probably. Building the whole system, dialing it in, getting it to where it works, no leaks.
And all your fermenters are going to be jacketed, glycol
They are all
cooled
jacketed,
fermenters.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Thank you.
Like breaking down your I don't want to say P&L, but like the main business, like your beer costs, labor costs, operating costs, and profit. Can you give any percentage on those for how it operates?
Basically, your cost of sale.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have the beer cost, like the cost for the raw ingredients for the beer, the yeast, the malts, the hops, and then the labor that you're paying yourself or whoever, and then or whoever, and you know, just general operating. How does that?
I don't have hard numbers off the top of my head on the costs. I know that when we've done the numbers, even on the pilot batch brewing beers at 11 gallons, getting 2 corny kegs per batch, we're able to get the beer cheaper than buying it through the distributor. So we're making more money off of even brewing 11-gallon batches. It's more, the cost of goods sold is lower on brewing even 11-gallon batches. We're almost the same, just below, than buying the kegs directly from the distributor.
Our case.
Well, any keg really. I mean, we have an added cost in because we have to pay Brisson and Hollow to brew the beer. So when we buy the beer back through the distributor, it's a little more than an average keg. But I mean,
Cost of sale percentage. 25.
yeah, on average for like probably here, I'm thinking Bill probably averages 30% maybe on his draft beer cost. I'm hoping that we can be at around. I'm hoping when we start brewing on the 3-barrel batch that we can get down to like 20, 25-ish in that realm, 22, 23. And it's possible. And you can charge a little more for craft beer direct. I mean, now we don't charge much more. We're doing $6 a pint, and $5 for 12-ounce pours, $2 for 4-ounce pours. So there is the ability there, and then people come and buy T-shirts and stuff too, so that helps. So I'm sorry I don't have all the numbers. And it's all a work in process trying to figure out what those numbers are. Right now we're basing everything off of buying all of our beer from a distributor. So it won't be until we can factor in all those things and we have our brew days. It will be better, yes. There is more profit to be made brewing the beer yourself than buying it through your distributor. There's a savings there.
are the legal is the legal situation in Florida now such that you can bypass the distributor once you brew your own beer?
No.
Somebody's still got to back that truck up to the loading dock, carry your beer around the block, and bring it back.
No. I'm sorry. I thought you meant through the distributor process. Our beer, if we brew it, we can sell it in the tasting room, no problem. It doesn't have to leave and rest at a tied house or a distributor. It's only if we want to sell. If I wanted to sell a keg to Bill here, it has to go through for a distributor first. But our beer in the tasting room, at one point that was a law that was on the table that they had thought about. It didn't go through. It does not affect us.
And just to add on to that, basically what they were trying to do when we wanted to get the growler bill passed was that they said that anybody that brews over 2,000 barrels a year, they can sell up to that point in their tap room, and then after that, it would have to go through a distributor. You'd have to sell your own beer to the distributor, and then the distributor would sell it back to you at a markup without even touching it.
They didn't have to pick it up.
And that's completely illegal. So that was one of Kelly Stargill's, our lovely Kelly Stargill, representative in the Senate. That was one of her grand ideas. She thought that 2,000 barrels a year was an extraordinary amount of beer, and it's really not. But yeah, that all got thrown out. So there's no limitations for us. Whatever we brew in house, we sell in house. If I brew, we're brewing something at Persimmon Hollow, it goes through the distributor, and it's just that's that simple.
Who's your distributor?
We are going through Persimmon Hollow distributor, which is City Bev. And you know, in some ways, especially like during the soccer season, the Ruckus Red, which we have here today, as well as Charles's Liquid Vinyl Black IPA, we were going through a lot of it because it's like the official beer of the supporters group. So for us, it was kind of great because we didn't have to eat up all of our cold storage. So that's been good. But moving forward now, I think we're going to try and keep most everything in house and raise those profit margins.
If I were to come to your camp room, do you have a parking lot? Is there parking around there?
Plenty of parking. We probably have 30 spaces just in the parking lot, 30 or more spaces just in the parking lot on the side of the building. We have 2 overflow lots on the other side of our neighboring building. That's all on the same property. That can probably hold another 150 cars. And there's plenty of parking along the street. That was one of the advantages of the space was the parking, the amount of it, as well as the way that the property is fenced in. We have the ability to do a festival or event later on in the future. The Group Brew Day that we've been talking with Chris and Steve about is something that we have a great back lot in. It's all fenced in, plenty of open space. So that was one of the bonuses of the property was the space and it being all on one property and the parking.
That's good.
Any other questions, guys? So, random question: what's next for you guys outside of the tap room, and what are your plans in the future? Where do you guys want to be as a brewery? I know you've been in the trenches for a while. Maybe one of those.
We want to be profitable.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's within reach. We're very close to a grand or 2 a week more in sales. We'll be right. We're obviously operating at a small loss right now.
Beer is awesome, by the way.
We think there has been a little bit of trouble getting people out because of the location and where we're located. Without the soccer game days, I don't know if it would have been a viable location for us at this time, with the neighborhood being in transition. But the events keep us busy.
At least yours is in transition.
I think you guys need to be more still.
And it's actually, anybody who hasn't been out there yet, you're going to be very surprised. It's gorgeous. I mean, Church Street in that area of Paramore 5 years ago, if you would have told me I was opening a brewery there, I would have thought you were crazy. But now, I mean, for us, it's been great. And I think for us, like moving forward, I think one of the things that's going to keep us a little slow too is not having our 3-barrel system up and running. People are kind of just like waiting for us to fill the board. I mean, we're always going to have a couple of guest taps, especially as close to the soccer stadium and the Citrus Bowls as we are. We get a lot of people that come in and they're like, I drink Bud Light. Okay, here you go. Like, not Bud Light, but something, comparable, some type of pilsner or pale ale or something. But I think that's been one of our kind of like downfalls too. I think as soon as we get the board filled, then there's going to be a lot more people that are going to make the drive in. And the good thing is that it's extremely accessible. I mean, if you're coming from I-4, 408, just about anywhere, 50, it's an extremely accessible location. It's not necessarily a destination. And then also from downtown, you can take the free limo bus, the grapefruit line, right almost to our front door. I mean, literally just drops you off on the corner. So if you're downtown and you wanted to go check out the brewery, you wouldn't have to get in your car and drive again. You could, or if you didn't drive at all, you could just hop on the limo and get there. So accessibility has actually been pretty good for us. Moving forward, aside from being profitable, I think that's what I was gonna say. I think our next big thing is we haven't had a grand opening yet. Haven't wanted to until we have the entire board full. And then we're gonna have a big grand opening party with bands and face painting and bouncy houses and all kinds of fun. And there might be beer. There might be beer. Actually, and there's we want to have a couple other breweries there too. Set up tents and kind of just like spread the love. And especially so many of the breweries that have been helping us out and giving us so much love.
Everything for us is it's kind of it's like a work in progress. As we're slowly going through things, we add a little more to our plate, and as we feel more comfortable with that, we add a little more to the plate. So I mean that's constantly as the weeks go on, we're just slowly adding more to the plate, adding more events, adding more special evenings. The next couple of weeks, so the brew house coming online. So I mean that's just kind of the way we're taking it. It's just slow and steady. As we're comfortable to take on more, we'll take it on.
Have you guys found a lot of love from the other breweries in the neighborhood and in the area?
Well, we're pretty much alone in the neighborhood. Orlando Brewing's really close. Aldis has been great there. They sold us the keg washer that we just turned around and sold. But it was, how often do you find a keg washer for sale 5 minutes away from your brewery? So I mean, they've been great. We had an event with them to kind of raise money for Pulse, and we reached out to them, and within 4 or 5 days, we had a pub beer crawl, brewery crawl between them and 1010 and Ocean Sun. So I mean, everyone's been really cool. We're working on creating a Central Florida Brewers Guild and getting all the other breweries together and kind of get everyone on the same page and kind of have a one unified voice where we can speak on things that are lobbying efforts or what big beer festivals are best for us to participate in, which ones are just mainly for profit for the guy organizing it.
So you would say it's been pretty open arms to you guys
Yeah,
opening up and
Ken to Crooked Can. I mean, they're practically. I mean, they're like our we call it like our sister breweries, so to speak, or like they give us yeast. I go there and get Cornies and Chico all the time. I mean, that saves us money.
That's
This isn't cheap, and it's fresh. It's second generation out of the fermenter. You can't ask for anything better. So I mean, they help us. I can call him up at any time, and he'll answer a question if I have something about something. And then we disagree on things. He thinks Maris Otter has no place in a dark beer. I think otherwise. But yeah, they've all been great. I mean, the local brewery is great. And when we travel and we say we're from a brewery, they're always pretty kind and show us around. You get maybe just a tad bit more extra treatment than say the regular guy off the street will. People bring us presents.
Yeah.
We get presents now. We have a brewery. That's one thing to look forward to. We get beer from all around. And someone just brought me a stainless steel growler from North Carolina, filled with their IPA, and left us the growler. So it's like, you get presents. So that's cool. Dry cleaners don't get presents, so don't open a dry cleaner. Get dirty clothes, maybe. There might be presents in pockets.
Anyone else? Chris?
Hey guys, any more questions at all? I'm going to take that as a no. Huge round of applause for them coming out. I know they're extremely busy right now. And consider it homework. Go to the brewery, try some of the beers. Even if you don't do that, at least go to their Facebook page, give them some likes.
There'll be a test on that.
Can you remind us of dates and hours, please?
Yeah, absolutely. We are open Wednesday from 3 to 10, Thursday from 3 to 10, Friday from 3 to midnight, Saturday from noon to midnight, or question mark, whatever. Sunday from noon to 10. Closed on Mondays and Tuesdays unless we're having some type of special events. Wednesdays we're doing open mic night, so if anybody you want to come, open up your high school diary, sing us a song, slam poetry.
Do you guys have bongos on site for that, or?
No, but bring your own bongo.
Okay.
It's BYOB. Bring your own bongos. And then we're starting. We're doing trivia on Thursday nights. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for Food Truck Fridays. Last night we had a Holy Schnitz food truck, and it's amazing. If you ever get a chance to eat that guy's schnitzel, it's amazing.
Sounds wrong.
Yeah, and tomorrow we're going to be open for the, normally not open on Monday, but we will be open tomorrow for the FSU Ole Miss game. And Dakine Poke is going to be roasting a whole pig. So you might want to show up for that. And we've got quite a few of our own beers aside from the Ruckus Red and the Black IPA on. We'd love to see you guys out there.
What do you guys have on tap right now?
Right now, I've got the Ruckus Red, which is our amber ale. I brought that. I've got Honey Bear Kolsch, which took Judge's Choice at the Downtown Brew Fest. I've got my Passion Fruit Sour, Brett Broke My Heart, and then also which one? Oh, my first Goza. Together we Goza, or we Goza together. Yeah, brewed my first Goza. Came out really well. I'm really, really happy with it. Love to get your input, especially you over there, Meesum.
No pressure.
On my side, I only have the liquid vinyl black IPA on today. Tomorrow I have a couple of my radlers. I have a guava radler and a pineapple ginger radler. And then cold crashed and ready for next weekend, I'll have a Belgian wheat IPA, white IPA, a strawberry blonde, and I just brewed yesterday a double IPA. And a couple saisons next week I'll brew. So we like to brew all kinds of cool stuff and change it up. And we make sure to communicate with each other. If I'm brewing a stout this month, she's not going to brew a stout, and vice versa. So we try to make sure we're not having duplicate type beers on at the same time.
Yeah, one more thing. Wednesday, I'm going to put on Bleed Purple, which is the blackberry saison, and tomorrow I'm brewing a special beer. I'm brewing a vanilla pumpkin spice ale called #White Girl Wasted, because it's time for the white girls and their pumpkin spice. So that should be a lot of fun. I just like to do silly crap. It's beer, you gotta have fun. So, anyways, you guys, thanks so much. If you guys have any other questions, we'll be floating around. So, let us know.
Also, they brought beer, so please come up to them and try it out.